Today on Blair County Beat, we're sitting down with Devin Saylor, founder of the Redd Up Altoona Foundation, a community-driven organization focused on inspiring residents to take pride in and improve the places they call home. Through neighborhood cleanups, public space initiatives, and grassroots community engagement, Devin has created opportunities for people to come together to make a positive impact in Altoona. The foundation's mission centers on empowering friends, families, and neighbors to become the change they want to see in their community. Beyond founding the organization, Devin has also become an active civic leader with a strong passion for Altoona's future and community development. His story reflects the power of local involvement and the idea that meaningful change often starts with ordinary people taking action. Today, we'll learn more about Devin's journey, the mission behind Redd Up Altoona, and his vision for building a stronger community. Okay, Devin, do you have like 20 questions?
Yeah, I'm down. Let's go. Let's run it up. Yeah.
Okay. First question. So, for people who may not be familiar with your foundation, can you tell us what Redd Up Altoona is, and when did you actually found it? When did you start?
Yeah. Well, the founding that's a tricky question, I guess. But I'll start with this, which is our organization deals with cleaning up litter around the city, or at least that's how it started.
Yeah.
And then after we did the first initial big cleanup, we had a lot of support, and I found that all these people, whenever given an opportunity that was tangible, that was easy to access, to be a part of the community, whether it's just picking up litter or trash, they were so I think they felt incorporated in. They felt like it was tangible. It was easy to get into. So what we essentially did is then, as I said, well, why don't we turn this into like a group or a foundation, and we raise money not just to pick up litter and do these like cleanups, but also to try and improve some public spaces because there have been some parks that I'd seen kind of fall into a deteriorated state, and they only really needed some minor repairs and stuff like that, like some benches needed some wood replaced and so on. And I thought that would be a great use of the resources that we would raise. We officially started back, oh my goodness, like 4 years ago. It feels like it was yesterday. And we have been kind of slowly working towards getting an official foundation where we could be a nonprofit and raise funds and money. And we finally gotten to that point, which I'm very excited about. So
yeah, that's awesome. So what inspired you to create Redd Up Altoona, and was there a specific moment that made you decide to act?
Yeah. So it was funny. It was just me going to Green Bean the one day. That's like what really started it. Was I went to Green Bean Coffee House, and I just sat there and I was like working on something. I looked down, man, litter everywhere, like all around 6th and 7th Avenue. And anybody's in Altoona, they'll tell you that. I mean, the litter it accumulates. And I said, what if we just all went out? I just made a Facebook post. That's all I did. I made a Facebook post and said, what if we all just went out in the community and picked up the litter? Had a big cleanup day.
Yeah.
And it was just an overwhelmingly positive response. And I said, okay. And I'm one of those people that if people tell me they want an opportunity to do something, to be the change they want to see in their community, I'm one of those people, I step up to the plate and I say, okay, like, how are we going to do this? How are we going to figure it out?
Yeah.
So for me, that was the initial spark that really kind of got things going. And what was the first part of that question?
What inspired you to create Redd Up Altoona?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like part of the inspiration, but what made us create the foundation afterward was that once I saw that initial spark and that I saw how much people were willing and wanted to do it, I wanted to create a way to so people could access this fun activity, which so many people did enjoy going out and doing, that also benefits the community and making it a better place. And also, it's just a personal philosophy and mindset I have that the grass is greener where you water it. I think a lot of younger people around here in Altoona, but also in Hollidaysburg, Blair County, they think like if they move to Pittsburgh or if they move somewhere else, that things are going to be better there.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's cooler, there's more going on. But you know, you have to you got to water the grass where you are. You got to create the cool stuff, kind of like what you're doing here.
Yeah.
You know, the Blair Beat. I mean, this is great. This is wonderful. Like, you know,
I'm glad you're so excited about it.
Well, like a live talk show in a downtown setting. I mean, people have talked about this for ages. I myself have.
Really?
So yeah. So
I did not know that.
Yes. So to see somebody like out here doing it, I was like, I have to support and be a part of it. I got to get an interview.
Yeah.
You know, maybe I'll have to interview you. We'll do a reverse Blair Beat.
Okay.
I'll ask you questions.
Somebody else suggested that actually, and I can't remember who, but they were like, "Why don't you do an interview?" I don't know. So maybe I'll interview for you.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, great.
Okay.
But that being said, yeah, that was the inspiration, you know, and I think that inspiration continues on through our efforts because when we're out in the community doing those cleanups, people see us, they honk their horns, you know, and I think it shows a sense of pride in the community.
Yeah. My next question is, why was improving and investing in Altoona important enough for you to dedicate your time and energy to the effort?
Oh boy, well, I've always said this. Like I'm like a person who's never done a single thing in his life because it was easy.
Yeah.
You know, I saw a need, you know, and I see a need in a lot of ways. And as I touched on, it's that inspiration part, right? I think people, I've always like to use this philosophy. If you're ever in a crowd and someone says something, right, at an event, I don't know if you guys have ever seen this, but you say something or someone says something profound and nobody claps, right? And then they just keep talking.
Yeah.
But it's always funny, like if you clap, you start clapping. Soon everyone in the room starts clapping. It always takes that first person.
Yeah.
The first person to start applauding. And I always think that that's why it's so meaningful because the spark of going out in the community and picking up litter shows people, not just about picking up litter, so this means anything in the city, anything in Altoona, is that, oh, I can do more than what I'm already doing. And not only that, you can just start doing something. You can just start. If you want to be a singer, you want to put together a music festival, you want to do this show, you know, like you can just pick up your stuff and say, okay, how do I start? And you can do that. You have that autonomy. And I think that is through the Redd Up Altoona Foundation, that spark for the people of the city of Altoona, because when we're out there doing our efforts in helping the community, people are visibly seeing that from our volunteers, and I think that inspiration trickles down into them.
So how often do you have volunteer events or cleanup events?
Well, that's fluctuated too. Like the first year, we had like so many cleanups.
Yeah.
And then we realized like, well, we do so many, and then we only have like, sometimes we'd have like 20, sometimes we had like one person show up. You know?
Yeah.
Because you were doing them so frequently. And then we were like, well, maybe the real winning thing to do is to have less cleanups, but more structured and advertise and market it. Like do smaller cleanups with more partnerships, and then just call people in and put the event out there. And we always like to try and do very fun graphics and stuff.
Yeah.
For them. I think one time we did a cleanup called Stone Cold Cleanup. And I had Stone Cold Steve Austin on the poster like this. And it was like 40 degrees outside when we did it. It's not very fun in terms of the weather, but you know, we made it the best go of it. But so we do probably, I'd say now we're probably doing closer to like 16 maybe over the course of the year. But the first year I think we did like almost 30. So it was a lot, you know. So we're probably right around there.
Is your main advertising avenue Facebook? Like your Facebook page?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, that's where a lot of it lives. We have the Redd Up Altoona Foundation community, which is a Facebook group we started for people that in general, like not just for the cleanup efforts, but also like things related to the public spaces in Altoona. So they have like, hey, like they can report areas that are highly littered. You know, hey, like there's a dump site back behind our house in this neighborhood. Could you come out, stop out, and pick this up for us?
Okay.
Or even to share some important public service announcements, like the IRC always posts about recycling and so on in there. We had like a very active social media presence, and then I kind of brought it back. So, but yeah, that's the main avenue.
Okay, awesome. Can you take us back to the early days? What were the first steps you took to turn this idea into reality?
Oh boy, you're asking me to go back way back. I think that one of the first steps was trying to find the resources. I'm very thankful for organizations through PennDOT and through the state, like Keep Pennsylvania Beautiful, because without them, like we would not have all of the PPE, I think that's what PPE, right?
Yeah.
Personal protection equipment. Somebody quote me on that. Okay. We got a fact checker in the office. Yeah, I Googled that. What's Joe Rogan? What's his guy on the Joe Rogan podcast called?
I should know this.
Yeah, me too. Right?
I don't know.
Yeah, someone's gonna start type it in the comments, which is great.
Yeah.
But But anyway, yes, we have someone checking that. But the PPE equipment, those guys are so helpful. I think that was one of the most important things because you gotta arm the people with the proper tools to get out there and clean up the community. And they provided bags, vests, gloves. We ended up paying for the grabbers kind of out of pocket. But the first year my dad actually sponsored those, so but that's one of the first steps that I take.
My dad was my angel investor too.
Oh really? Perfect. Beautiful. Yeah, right.
So starting any organization or business comes with challenges. What has it taken personally and professionally for you to build and grow Redd Up Altoona?
Well, I think there's a lot of different ways the organization has grown and I've had to grow.
Yeah.
I think one of the ones is in terms of delegation. I'm still learning it to this day because I am always I'm the kind of person who tells someone, hey, can you go grab that thing over there? And as I'm getting up to go grab the thing, and then I grab it, right?
Yeah.
It's just who I am. I take the action, the steps. Yeah, exactly. But you got to learn there's so much going on at any given point in time that you need to lean on your board. You need to lean on the people in your community as much as you can. I mean, it's a great trait to be a person who shows up day in and day out, and you'll do the work whether 80 people show up or nobody does, right?
Right.
But the problem is you don't get nearly as much work done if you just do it all the time. So many hands make light work, and I think that for me has been the core growth for me personally, as well as the organization, is how do we get more people in and involved and leverage it to make this into something truly special for the community.
Yeah, that's great. Were there moments when you questioned whether this would work, and what kept you motivated to continue?
That's a great question.
Thanks.
I don't know about if it would work. I think it was more there were times where I was like, what can we do to make this work better? Or should it be, or we kind of talked about the responsibilities of the organization. Should it work? Should we be working towards being a nonprofit where we can fund these public space improvement projects like benches and garbage cans and, better equipment to help clean up the streets a bit easier for our volunteers, right? Like that versus should we just be a group of people who go around and pick up trash and we don't need the nonprofit status and we don't need to raise money for it, right? And I think that has been one of the questions of should we continue or should we not, in what capacity. But I don't think we've ever had a thing where we're it's not going to work, because the fundamentally, as long as there's people out there who believe in this community and there's those willing to go out there and pick up a litter, and I will tell you, if you go out there, okay, you might initially be dragging your feet to get to the cleanup site. But once you get there, it becomes addicting. I tell people this, it becomes addicting. You will start picking up trash.
I will start getting every little piece or something. That's me. I'll go get I'm a detail oriented person, so I'll look for that tiny little gum wrapper or whatever, and I'll be like, oh, goody.
Yeah, one to keep you away from where the people smoke a lot, because the cigarette butts. That's one thing we always have to tell people. We have to look at them and say, hey, don't pick up the cigarette butts continuously because you'll be here all day. You wouldn't some places you wouldn't move 10 feet from where you were picking up trash because that's how many cigarette butts are in that one spot.
That's a shame.
Yeah, it is. It is a shame. But it's just always funny because it's always sometimes in the same exact place, especially intersections. There's always there must be a certain intersection where you go and the people are like, oh, this is the intersection, and they just
time to put mine out.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
What are some of the biggest obstacles you've encountered while trying to grow this organization?
Biggest obstacles. I think for one, it's been time. Like I think as an individual like myself, like you're always kind of you got your finger in like 18 different pots. I got a family now too, so I got 2 kids, 3 dogs. Look, all right, time consuming. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
So it's just trying to find the time to really organize everything. And I think that's been like the one of the biggest challenges that we've faced is that organizing all these events and so on takes time to really do them well, do them successfully. But we have been doing it long enough that where certain steps of the process have become easy.
Yeah.
Like you already know the person you need to call to get this.
Okay.
Or you already know who you need to call to coordinate that. And in the beginning, that was part of that process. Was like you're like, who do I talk to? Like who's the person I gotta call?
That is true. I suffered the same thing. I was always bothering the borough office, so.
Always bothering the borough, yeah.
Yeah, this was one guy. I would always email him with my questions, and I'm like, if you're not the right person to answer, let me know who is. But he would always answer, and he was super helpful. So.
All right, well that's great. I'm glad to hear.
Yeah. Have there been any community members, mentors, or partners who played a major role in helping Redd Up Altoona succeed?
Oh boy, yeah. There's probably several. I'm trying to think if I should mention directly or indirectly, because there's people who have helped mentor me to help indirectly move the organization forward. But there have also been people I think that have also helped directly through their leadership. I mean, I think like the people within the city of Altoona have helped tremendously. Like I'm talking to council people and stuff. Yeah. For all the criticism I may throw at them from time to time. But they did a good job of having the public works department available to us to help dispose of the litter that we would pick up in a supportive effort. So that's always good. I think that Tim Balconi, who's UPMC Foundation president, he was somebody who really because he runs a nonprofit, right? He runs his own foundation through the hospital. He was a great mentor to me because he kind of said, hey, look, these are the things you kind of need. And like when you're asking people for money, like these are the kind of things they expect. And and I think it kind of gave me a different perspective because I ran my own business doing videography and video production, and you get it from a for-profit side, right? It's I need X and you give me Y, right? But for a nonprofit, it's more mission oriented, and I think that in a way it's very empowering and fun. But someone like Tim really helped bring that to the forefront and help me understand, what it is. Like you lead with that passion, but then how do you translate that into communicating the real, tangible changes you're going to make for the community?
Yeah. I mean, I'd love to have a mentor help me with this because I have no idea my wheelhouse is not media. I come from a marketing background, but I also did data analytics. So I'm comfortable behind a computer and a desk.
Yeah.
Being an introvert. So this has been something different for me altogether.
So what made you come out of your shell?
Nate asked me. Asked me if I'd like to do a show for public access, and I'm currently looking for full-time work. This is a volunteer position.
Of course.
So I thought it would be a great way to get out and meet people. And, I was born in Hollidaysburg, grew up here for 8 years before we moved to Kentucky. So I care about the community and how successful it is.
Right,
especially downtown Hollidaysburg, So, Nate's been pretty much my mentor so far.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotta give Nate his flowers over there. All right, go ahead.
Yeah. What did the typical cleanup or community project day look like for your team and volunteers?
Yeah, so usually it starts with us getting up around like 9 a.m. Well, for us, the actual people putting it together, it's like 7. We're getting up, we're grabbing everything that's necessary to start the events. We're grabbing the equipment, we're grabbing everything, and then we're going to the area downtown. Or this year, we're actually going to be doing it in front of Green Bean, which is a nice change, I guess, because I like that it's going to be right there where some businesses are, and people aren't going to have to walk as far to get to the trash.
Yeah.
Because a lot of our heaviest places of cleanup during the season is 6th and 7th Avenue, And usually we start in Heritage Plaza, so people have to walk all the way across the bridge and get to the other side.
Yeah.
And now we're kind of starting in a central location, so people can just basically, it's kind of like the Easter egg hunt for kids.
Yeah.
You know, which it is. If you want to say what the event is, I mean, that's kind of what it is people come in and we mingle. Like we don't just start, like people don't just don't show up and then we start handing out stuff again and say, all right, see you, go out in the neighborhood, right? Because a big part of Redd Up is community building. And I like inviting people out and then putting them in like these groups. Sometimes I like putting them in groups where they don't know people. I like that.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Because it's funny, is these people that don't even know each other out there in the community now, and they're sitting there picking up garbage, which is interesting because the conversations that you have whilst picking up garbage, well, maybe we'll touch on that.
It reminds me of Schitt's Creek. Did you ever watch Schitt's Creek?
Yes.
Where Alexis and Mutt are doing litter pickup.
Yeah, right, exactly.
And they're trying to make small talk and stuff, and it's just funny.
Yeah, exactly. People come, they talk, we mingle, and then usually like we kind of give like a little rah-rah, like, hey, thank you so much for being here, like, you understand how much impact that this makes, and then we go over that, we break them up into groups, there's safety guidelines, we go over, while you're out the street, because there's sharp objects, hazardous objects, or even substances that you probably shouldn't be touching if they're laying on the ground,
right.
To contact somebody else to put them away or throw them away. And then we go out in the community, we have fun, probably about 2.5 hours. Go out, pick out some litter, and then they set them down at drop points that we've distinguished.
Okay.
And then either the city or whoever we have coming to haul the trash away comes either that day or on the first thing on Monday, haul the trash away. So
that's awesome. You got a system.
Oh yeah, we've been at it a while.
Okay. Do you have a favorite success story or moment where you saw the direct impact of Redd Up Altoona's work?
Goodness. Okay, hold on. This is like see what's funny. You gave me these questions in advance. I should have thought. And I was like, no, I want to come off the cuff with it. I want to.
That's fine.
I think one of the biggest success stories I feel was just sometimes when you're out in these communities and people recognize what you're doing. Like the neighbors in a neighborhood will come out because I can't point to one specific moment, but there's just times where you're out there picking up litter and neighbors will come out, like people in the community will come out and say, "Hey, thank you guys so much for what you're doing. We greatly appreciate it." And it's nice because I'm sure there's a lot of neighborhoods where there's people there, there's elderly people there, and they can't get to cleaning up everything in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
They can't get to picking up the litter and so on and so forth.
Right.
So it's nice when you can go out there and help people. And I think even right along 6th Avenue, there's someone living at the corner there by Green Bean Coffee House. And, they just have like a bunch of garbage or something piled up in front of their house or to the side of it or something. And we just looked at them and said, hey, look, can we just take this off your hands? Can we just take this burden from you? Take it off your plate. And, they said, yeah, thank you so much. And I guess, a horrible health situation had befallen their family and so on.
Yeah.
And, being able to help in that capacity, I think is one of the most impactful things that we do is because when you are recognized in the community for something as simple as picking up litter, it kind of goes to show like how much farther it stretches than just a group of people getting together to pick up trash.
Right.
People notice that improvement. So,
what are some? This is an interesting question. What are some misconceptions people may have about community revitalization or neighborhood cleanup efforts?
Well, I touched on it. I think one of it is that people think it's going to be lame, it's going to be boring, and it's going to stink, and it's like, oh, picking up litter. Oh my gosh! Like, isn't that something people have to do whenever like they have a DUI or something? It's a community service. Right? I think that's something that they think, but like they mentioned, like you'll go out there, and once you're in it, it's a blast. And not only that, like you laugh at the things you find.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like we found love notes, wrestling action figures. Like the things you will find will blow your mind.
You should start a museum or something.
Well, we've actually joked about starting doing art.
Okay.
Which is fun, like taking some of the garbage and making maybe an art showcase where we collect litter, or maybe we have some people in our community collect litter and then challenge them to make a sculpture And maybe someday down the line we'll offer like a prize, like prize money or something for the best sculpture. I don't know, but it's a good idea because every time we're out there cleaning, somebody brings it up.
Yeah.
I think that's one misconception. I think another misconception that we have is that like drug paraphernalia, because it's something that we, I think when we first started, people were like, oh, we're going to find so many, needles and bags of drugs and stuff like that littered across the street. And don't get me wrong, we do find them, but not nearly as often as people might think.
Okay.
Because I think the first one there was like a time when we found a couple here and there. But over the years, like you'll go into neighborhoods and you won't find anything, along the streets and the main roads and so on. So, just some food for thought, I think too, is that I think the city in a lot of ways is a bit cleaner than some people think it is.
Yeah. So beyond cleanups, how do you encourage people to feel a stronger sense of pride and ownership in their community?
That is a tricky question. That's like a tough one. I guess the heart of it, because really the cleanups are the way that we inspire people to go and feel a deeper sense of that connection. Is that the right word using that question?
Yes.
Yeah, and I think too, it's also in meeting the people that you meet while you're there.
Yeah.
Because what happens is you get a lot of people under not really one roof, I guess, but in the same area. Towards a common goal or a common cause that maybe they wouldn't otherwise be in at that time. And they come together and they meet people. And it's like a networking opportunity, really. I've actually,
it is a great way to meet people. Especially because you put strangers with strangers. And they learn about each other. And
well, I can't tell you how many people have said, oh, yeah, I'm getting lunch with so-and-so after the big one. Like I'll be saying, like, all right, I'll see you later. And then the two people that, I put a group of people together, and then the whole team goes, oh, and they didn't even know each other. That's the best part. They didn't even know each other not 2 hours ago. And then they're like, oh, yeah, we're going to go get lunch downtown. It's like, wow, like, okay, so we've connected these people together. And generally, if they're there, they're probably working on doing something in the community, have similar ideals. They believe.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. They probably have a lot in common. Even though they didn't know each other, it's, a way for people to bond and get to know each other.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's really one of the bigger ways of doing it too, because who knows, like the next big thing that might be happening for Altoona might be born because two of those people connected at a cleanup.
Yeah. What role do you think local businesses and organizations play in helping communities thrive?
I think that, well, for one, I think what it is like, I'll say this, like some local businesses, it's great whenever they give their feedback on like things that they want to see cleaned up in the community for our purposes. Because those are the guys that are, doing business day in and day out, and those major corridors, like we talked about 6th and 7th Avenue, but other places, I think they contribute. But also too, like even that support financially as well, like when they have that money to invest in those things, right? Like I'm only really speaking to what we're doing,
right?
But like when they choose to invest or donate money to us, it's tremendously helpful because we're improving the neighborhoods in which they're doing business. And I think that whenever, I guess I'm more so talking about the benefit, maybe as much as the role they play. But it's at the end of the day, it's a community. It's a community, and by them, giving us the tools that we need, the resources we need to make the community a cleaner place and inspire this pride in it, it helps them in terms of commerce and business and so on. And other groups and independent organizations, like I'll give you an example, like prison board, people on probation, people who have some kind of requirement for community service. People live in housing authority. If they're not working, they have to meet a certain amount of community service hours in order to maintain their household, like to stay within where they live. So many people have come to us for community service hours. And we're happy to give them to them. We're like, yeah, of course. Like, hey, if you need, and actually somebody reached out to me, I think 3 days ago and said, hey, I need community service hours. And, I don't ask why, because at the end of the day, I'm like, hey, I'm just happy to have you helping and you're applying yourself. And that's more than some people do. So that's some of the ways that they kind of connect and help.
Okay. So what has surprised you most since launching Redd Up Altoona?
What has surprised me most? Wow. I think what has surprised me most is and I've kind of hinted to it throughout this entire interview, is just how much people want to help and be a part of their community. Because before I started it, it felt like there was this narrative that was that people didn't care about the community, or at the very least that people weren't as involved or didn't want to be involved, and so on and so forth. But really, what it is that you have to provide people, and it's a philosophy I live by, you have to provide people the opportunity to do the right thing. You know, you have to create systems, make it easier, make it accessible. And when you do that, right, when you say, hey, Jimmy, we're doing a cleanup, and guess what? You just got to show up, just be here, right?
Yeah.
And you're going to get pizza, you know, and you go grab a coffee across the street, and you're going to make friends.
Yeah.
It makes it real easy. Like when I say it like that, it makes it real easy to go out there and do it, and people want that connection. They want to feel like they're helping.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like so many people told me that, well, maybe you're not going to see a lot of success, but we have, you know, with that persistence and consistency. So yeah, I think that's like the biggest surprise.
Okay, I was thinking the same thing. Like, okay, if I started this organization, like, how many people are really going to care to come out and pick up litter? You know, especially young people. Young people seem like less interested in keeping a nice community clean and safe. So, I mean, would you say most of your volunteers are of a certain age group?
Not at all. We do have younger people come out, and you know, but we have some younger folks who actually they're kind of like, it's kind of like in thirds. You have I have like a young group of volunteers who's usually like right around my age in like their 20s, right? Who come out. Generally not really young kids. Then you have the family-oriented folks, like they bring their kids to the cleanup because they're like, because sometimes I feel like what it really is, it's like, all right, Jimmy, you were bad this week, so now we have to, they grab by the ear and say, you're going to help pick up trash in the community. Or it's just family, like young families who are trying to establish, like, I think, ethics in their children, like, hey, look, you got to give back to your community. You got to help out, so you got to come here. And then we got some older folks who I think are very environmentally minded. And I think everybody's environmentally minded in a way. Like most people that come, you know, they're coming to support too because they're thinking, you know, hey, look, if all this trash goes down the storm drains, eventually that gets out into the water systems and it becomes a larger problem because, you know, if you ever see the reports now, microplastics are in everything. You know, like right now we got microplastics in our brain. You know, so I mean, I don't know if we have enough in my bloodstream to make like a Hasbro toy or something, like a Barbie. You know, like it's possible is what I'm saying. So those kind of efforts people think about all the time. Those things that start to add up. So in a way, it makes them feel like they're addressing those issues.
Okay. So if someone watching this interview wanted to get involved, what are some ways they could support or participate? Is it purely through cleanups, or do you have a need for someone to create flyers for you, social media posts, like things like that?
Well, I'll tell you this. As my dad once said, there's a butt for every seat. Okay? Because we need, well, more so there's a seat for every butt because we need every possible thing that can be afforded to us in terms of help, you know. But that being said, I mean, one of the big ways you can help is just showing up. You know, I mean, a big part of success is just showing up. You just show up to our cleanups. I mean, that's the first step. But, you know, I think in other ways, it's just like if you have valuable skills, like we plan to do some like landscaping and park, you know, repairs and stuff like that over the years. And, you know, putting in benches and putting in trash cans. If people have, you know, valuable skills in carpentry or manufacturing, like, you know, or anything like that, those are very useful to us. But also marketing, even just speaking good on it. When we post, like joining the Redd Up Altoona community group, even if you're not going to be there, seeing our stuff and being like, I'm going to share that and put that out there because hopefully maybe you'll get in front of somebody who's willing to take the initiative.
Right.
You know, so that's just one of the many few ways that they can.
Okay, that's great. Looking ahead, what goals or projects do you hope to accomplish in the next few years? Is there anything like specifically that's on your agenda?
The city needs a lot of things, and public amenities for me is like number one. Like we need more public amenities. We need more benches. We need more trash cans. And we need to create systems in which that can be reasonably maintenance and maintained. I don't know if that's through doing some neighborhood programs. I've always brought this up: dog waste bins. People walk their dogs, and the dogs, do their business, and then they have to pick up the poop and so on.
Yeah.
And then they take it back to their house. It'd be nice if there was like a way to have those in neighborhoods, and to make a neighbor or a few neighbors responsible for that bin and disposal of it. Maybe just add it to their trash.
Right.
Throughout the weeks or so on, and that way, it's like we're helping inspire the change, because we're encouraging neighbors to take on initiative, while also providing them, the trash can in that instance, the opportunity to do the right thing.
Yeah.
So if we can do those, offer those amenities and offer those things, it helps create a cleaner community, but also a more appealing community, a community where people want to walk around on the street and don't feel like it's kind of just this, where am I walking to? And, so I think really for me, that's one of the big projects we want to do. Another one is we want to purchase a piece of land and kind of turn it into like the Redd Up headquarters, so to speak.
Yes, that would be great. I was actually looking to see if you had like a physical address, like a location.
Yes, and make it like, but like we don't want it to be like an office. We want it to be like a vacant lot where we can put like a tool shed on it to store our equipment, and landscaping so it looks nice, and maybe like a pavilion so people can hang out there.
Yeah.
And then maybe that's where we have our formal meetings, is at
right.
outside. We invite the public. Hey, like, you want to come to our board meeting? Like, we're going to be sitting under the pavilion.
Yeah.
Those are the kind of things that we want to see.
That's awesome
for the future.
Okay. So we're down to my last question. If you could leave the community with one message about getting involved and making a difference, what would it be?
I think if there's one thing that's kind of come clean from this whole interview, is that message is that you gotta go out there and you have to be the change you want to see in your community.
Yeah.
That's the message, because you can't sit around idly. If you see something that needs done, why not just go out and do it, right? And just start. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to know how to fix everything, because Lord knows that when I went out there and started Redd Up, I didn't know how to start a 501c3. I didn't know all the avenues to get the resources, but I started and I said, hey, this is the goal we want to accomplish. And when there's a will, there's a way. And if people don't believe that they can make that tangible change in their community, they are sadly mistaken. I encourage them to go out there for 1 year and just pursue that thing, and you'll see very quickly how much of a difference you and all your friends, family, and neighbors can make.
That's great. Well, you have been a joy to interview. You have good energy.
Yeah, I try to keep it positive, yeah.
Yeah.
What's funny is I didn't even take one sip of my coffee the entire time.
I didn't take a sip of water either, so.
Oh, perfect, okay.
So as we wrap up today's interview, we want to thank Devin for joining us and sharing the story behind Redd Up Altoona Foundation. Devin's passion for community pride and his commitment to creating positive change shows that progress often begins with local action. For more information, or if you're interested in volunteering, visit Redd Up Altoona Foundation's Facebook page for more details and upcoming events. I hope you enjoyed Devin's interview, and I'll see you next time on Blair County Beat.